ChatGPT-5 is here, free to use and packed with game-changing features. But is it actually that much better than GPT-4, or are we just getting dazzled by a shiny new brain with good PR? Short answer, yes. In some ways, it's a legitimate leap, and in other ways, the hype runs a little faster than the truth. And we're about to break it all down without the marketing fluff, so you know exactly what's worth your time. This is Supposedly Rich, the channel where we cut through the hype, call out the nonsense, and show you what's real in the world of online money and digital tools. Number 1, unified brain and auto depth. Back in GPT-4 days, you had to pick between the general model, the reasoning model, or the mini model. It was like ordering coffee at a new cafe. You didn't know if you were getting a single shot or a triple until you took a sip. GPT-5 says, "Don't worry, I got this," and automatically adjusts how hard it thinks based on your question. Quick fact request? It fires back instantly. Complex, multi-layered project? It shifts into deep reasoning mode on its own. In testing, this really did save time and clicks. Compared to 4, you'll spend less time deciding which model to use and more time actually getting answers. It's not flawless. Sometimes it underestimates complexity and gives you the light version of what you wanted. But if you're on the paid plan, you can still hit the thinking mode button and force it into beast mode. That's where the gap from 4 is most obvious. And speaking of things 5 can do without you micromanaging it. Number 2, instant custom game creation. Public prompts have shown GPT-5 creating playable games in seconds. Not just Tetris clones, but themed versions where the blocks are custom images, emojis, product icons, even a photo cut into tiles. And it doesn't just shove them into the game, it auto-styles the interface to match the colors from those images. In seconds, you get a complete HTML, CSS, and JavaScript project with clean comments, working controls, and a responsive layout. Sometimes it misses an image on the first pass, but one follow-up line fixes it. With 4, this kind of request often resulted in something half-baked that needed debugging. With 5, you're much closer to copy-paste play. And if it can do that in seconds, wait until you see how it handles your inbox. Number 3, Gmail and Google Calendar integration. GPT-5 can now plug directly into your Gmail and Google Calendar. No plugin store detour required. Ask it to summarize your last 5 unread emails, find a 2-hour meeting slot for next week, or draft a reply to your boss that's professional but still says, "This could have been a Slack message." In testing, it pulled summaries that were clear and quick, though once or twice it skipped a small but important detail. Still, the fact that it's native is huge. 4 needed workarounds. 5 can check your calendar, spot a meeting conflict, and fix it before you even notice, which is the kind of proactive help you want when you're too busy or too distracted playing with the next feature. Number 4, advanced voice mode. Voice mode in GPT-4 felt like talking to a very polite audiobook. 5's voice? Faster, more natural, and weirdly good at improv. In demos, it brainstormed seasonal product ideas, playfully pushed back on bad suggestions, and even recommended small batch testing for experimental ideas instead of blindly agreeing. It can volley ideas like an actual human brainstorming partner with fewer awkward pauses. There's still a slight AI accent on certain words, but the back and forth is so much smoother that you forget it's not a person after a minute. And if talking to a computer like it's a coworker isn't wild enough, wait until you see it try to teach you something from scratch. Number 5, study mode. Switch on study and learn, and GPT-5 turns into a patient tutor that actually adapts to you. First time baking bread, it'll ask what tools you have, how much time you've got, and whether you want easy mode or artisan mode. Then it'll guide you step by step, adjusting on the fly if you say you're stuck. 4 could explain things, sure, but it didn't adjust mid-lesson unless you specifically asked. 5 does it naturally. It still repeats itself sometimes, but it's the first time ChatGPT has felt like a real adaptive teacher instead of just a Wikipedia page with a friendly face. And speaking of making complex things feel simple, number 6, developer power-up. GPT-5's coding skills have leveled up. It's built spreadsheets with advanced formulas, text editors with embedded images, a 3D version of Conway's Game of Life, and even browser games with particle effects, all functional on the first run. The code is cleaner, with better variable names, fewer random bugs, and comments that actually help. 4 often spat out code that worked until it didn't. 5 gets you closer to production ready, especially for prototypes. And if you think that's impressive, you should see it when you ask it to think in 3D. Number 7. Physics and 3D simulations. Want a double pendulum simulation with real-time gravity sliders, fluid dynamics with adjustable viscosity, a ray-traced Cornell box built in JavaScript? GPT-5 can do that. Performance dips if you go overboard. But the fact that it can produce this stuff without importing big external libraries is a leap forward. 4 often needed help or fell apart on complex 3D math. 5 powers through it and does it with cleaner visuals. But not everything is about raw computation. Sometimes it's about style. Number 8. Modern UI design. If GPT-4's UI designs looked like they belonged on a 2012 startup's homepage, 5's look like they belong in 2025. Fake social media feeds, login pages with animations, Stripe-style checkouts, polished dashboards. It nails spacing, alignment, and color harmony right out of the gate. Accessibility still needs a human touch, but you're starting with something you could actually ship. And if you want to go beyond pretty pixels into real, useful data, that's where the next point comes in. Number 9. Deep research and agent behavior. GPT-5 can browse the web, click through links, and compile complex research with context from your own files. Market reports, travel itineraries, competitor breakdowns. It's faster, more accurate, and less plugin reliant than GPT-4's browsing. It's not perfect. Site restrictions still trip it up. But it can now act more like a research assistant than a fancy autocomplete. And when you're pushing the limits of what it'll do for you, you need to know where it draws the line. Number 10. Safety and judgment. GPT-5 is better at refusing dangerous or unethical requests without overreacting to harmless ones. In financial scenarios, it steers you towards safer alternatives. In health prompts, it gives caution and resources, not just a polite, nope. Mistakes still happen, but the filter feels smarter and less trigger-happy. And just when you think that's the last major upgrade, there's one more thing hiding under the hood. Hidden context memory. Here's something that's not getting enough hype. GPT-5 can keep track of context over longer conversations without you constantly repeating yourself. Ask it to remember your preferred tone, or that you're working on a specific project, and it can carry that through multiple sessions. In 4, long threads often turned into Amnesiaville after a while. 5 stays with you longer, which means fewer, as I said earlier, moments, and more actual progress. It's not perfect. This isn't the full permanent memory OpenAI has hinted at, but it's a big step toward AI that actually knows you. And with that, you've now seen the real story. The good, the bad, and the surprisingly practical behind GPT-5. This has been Supposedly Rich. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.